Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and that was absolutely demoralizing. Today I'm recapping Game 37 of the regular season. Astros fall to the Angels 6-5, but we out-hit them 13-7. It is really late. It is 1:45 a.m. in the morning when I'm filming this, so if you're watching this after I post it, it's going to be a long one, and I'd probably wait till the morning. And if you're watching this in the morning, settle in with maybe some toast. That's my preferred breakfast, is peanut butter toast. Or maybe a bowl of cereal. Maybe eggs. I don't know what your life is. Enjoy this with your breakfast as I go on a tangent about tonight's game. This is going to be a long one, so settle in. Starting with our starting pitcher, Lance McCullers Jr. Oh, man. He can't pitch on the road this year. All of his bad starts have been on the road. He's been rock solid at home. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's that he doesn't like the mounds that aren't in Minute Maid. Maybe he doesn't like the backdrop. It's like Minute Maid is a hitter's ballpark, and that's what I find confusing. I maybe we need to put a virtual reality headset on him. Like I have no idea what to do. But he had his atrocious Arizona start on the road. This one, he's had all of his bad starts. Every road start this year, I believe every road start, has been bad. I don't know what to do. And I'm going to kind of give the cop-out of it was super hot in LA today, and so his hands were sweaty, and maybe he wasn't getting a good grip on the ball, because that's what I used in his Padre blow-up. But man, this was another terrible start by Lance McCullers Jr. And I want to emphasize this. I love Lance McCullers Jr. He's awesome. I'm wearing his chain right now. I love Lance McCullers Jr. He's one of my favorite players on the Astros. But man, today was a bad game. 3 runs, a home run to Mike Trout, 3 walks, no outs recorded. That's bad. Now granted, I think the first hit of the game might have been an out if the ref, or if the ump, wouldn't have been there. Like maybe Diaz turns that, but that's beside the point. This was a bad game by Lance McCullers Jr. It was a terrible start. He gave up the infield hit, home run, walk. Bases loaded, gets pulled. This was horrendous. And I love Lance. And so when I say this, I mean it with the utmost love and respect to my man Lance McCullers Jr. And I don't mean this to insult him, but this was a very bad game. Luis Garcia came in and actually did really well in 4 1/3 innings. He only gave up 1 run. It was on a home run, but he did pretty good. He gave up 3 walks to 2 strikeouts, but again, 4 1/3. He kept us in the game for a bit. You know, if you only look at what he did, he only gave up 1 run. So if you look at it like he got the start, 4 1/3, 1-run ball. That's really good. CNL Perez came in, and he was okay. He gave up a run in an inning and a third. Struck out 2, walked 1. He was okay. Then Andre Scrub came in, and I don't know if any of you watched. Probably not, because it has like 3 views. My second video ever on this channel was speculating about this year's starting rotation. And I talked a lot about how I thought it was funny that last year, how good Brian Abreu was. And I thought it was funny because he didn't pitch a lot, but he was really good in the innings he pitched. And now, this year, we have Andre Scrub for pitching weirdness. He went 2 1/3 tonight, walked 3, struck out 3, no runs, no hits. His ERA is now at .57, and his ERA plus, which is league park and error adjusted, and it takes all pitchers from everywhere. 100 is league average. 150 is incredible. 170, you're probably going to win the Cy Young. Again, it's a very short sample size. I believe he's pitched 15 2/3 so far, but it is at 686. So if you just look at those innings, he is almost 7 times better than the average pitcher. That's incredible. That is hilarious. He is this season's Brian Abreu, except he's doing it over a longer period of time in higher leverage situations. He's hysterical. Now, I also want to point this out. I love advanced analytics. I try to talk about that quite a bit on this channel. At least I want to talk about it more, because I really like advanced analytics. There's a neat little stat called FIP, which is Fielding Independent Pitching, which gives you a person's suspected ERA just going off of walks, home runs, hit by pitch, and strikeouts. His expected ERA by FIP is 4.11, and his actual ERA is 0.57. That is one of the most absurd, that's hysterical. That it is so far off from what his actual ERA is. I've not seen something like that. And I am a nerd with nothing better to do. So I stare at numbers and count beans all day, and I have not seen a disparity that large. So that's hysterical. Ryan Presley came in, he pitched an inning. He looked pretty good, struck out 2, walked 1. Nice go about. Then in the 10th, we brought in Brooks Raley, and he looked really good in the 10th. First batter was a sac bunt to get him over to third. And then Pujols came in. And I'm going to be honest, I thought Pujols was going to walk it off. And not because I think Pujols, at this point in his career at least, is a great hitter. But I was like, he's probably going to get a good pop out to the outfield. He's probably going to walk it off. That's how it'll go. And it didn't happen. It was simple. It was minute. He just popped up to the second baseman, on the infield. And that was it. Then Andrelton Simmons came up, and he got hit by a pitch. If he hadn't got hit by it, I want to point this out because I thought it was kind of funny. Had he not got hit by it, the game would have ended then, because that was totally a wild pitch, and there's no way Maldonado was catching that. So that happened, but then he struck out Mike Trout, which, if you can strike out Mike Trout, you're doing something right. So that was a positive. Then the 11th came, and he got a line out for Rendon, and a walk-off to Shohei Ohtani, which I'm very mixed, because on the one hand, we lost a heartbreaker where we used 10 1/3 innings of our bullpen. Just our bullpen, because our starting pitcher didn't get any outs. Again, sorry, Lance McCullers Jr., I love you. 10 1/3 for our bullpen. Demoralizing loss. But I love Shohei Ohtani. And you might say, Weston, isn't it kind of a basic baseball fan to love Shohei Ohtani because he's different and unique because he's a hitter and pitcher? And I would say yes, and I'm easily entertained. Let me enjoy Shohei Ohtani. He's fascinating to me. So there's that little disparity that, I hate watching us lose, but it's Shohei Ohtani, and I really like him. And so that softens the blow and makes me, instead of wanting to cry while rocking back and forth on the ground right here next to my office chair, I'm just very sad. So that happened. The offense. Time to lay into our offense, which is really where I've been wanting to go. Now, granted, we started with a 3-run deficit, basically, because Lance McCullers Jr., again, was very bad tonight. So that's a given. But our offense did us no favors. The first run was scored on a Kyle Tucker RBI ground out, which, yay. The next one was scored on a Carlos Correa double. Yuli came around to score, and that was it for a while. I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be the end of the game. That was going to be our scoring. I had a rant written up, and then we rallied in the 9th, and we scored 3 runs, and Maldonado, I know he didn't technically, but I'm going to say it because it's as close as I can get. Maldonado stole home. Then Josh Reddick grounded out, for an RBI for Springer to score. And then on the last strike, you guys thought it was over, and then knock, it was Kyle Tucker with an RBI double to score a straw from second. So that was nice on the final strike of the game, or what would have been, which debatably might have been better, because then we wouldn't have had to use 2 bullpen arms. So take that with a grain of salt. Time to lay into the offense. We were 3 of 24 with runners in scoring position tonight. We did not move our second base runner in the 10th or the 11th. Now, again, I know it takes a lot for a person like me who's sitting in an office, if you can call it that, in Florida, who has never played any sort of level of professional baseball, or coached it for that matter. But I said it once, and I'll say it again. 3 for 24 runners in scoring positions, that is unacceptable. That is terrible. We couldn't move them in the extra innings. We couldn't move the runner. That's unacceptable. 3 of 24. So many missed opportunities. 12 runners left on base. That is, including loading the bases in the 8th. And again, we tied it. And then Presley looked incredible. All we would have had to do, 1 run cross there. It was deflating, frustrating, and just maddening to see our offense just sputter out tonight like it did. And what makes it kind of worse, not kind of actually, what makes it way worse is the San Diego Padres destroyed the Athletics tonight. 7-0 in Oakland. We could have picked up that game. We could have picked up a game. We could have been one game back, right in striking distance of the division. Not that 2 games is far back, but we have to capitalize on this kind of stuff. And before someone says, well, maybe we didn't know they were losing, that's not a good excuse. We need to be trying to win, especially to make up that gap. And there are scoreboards all over the stadium, and don't tell me that someone isn't mentioning to Dusty or to someone in the dugout, like our managers, coaches, what have you, be like, hey, Oakland's getting destroyed out there. This was a bad loss. This was really bad for so many reasons. It was demoralizing. We got walked off. We couldn't make up that game when Oakland got absolutely destroyed. 3 for 24 in sprinters in scoring position. We used 6 bullpen arms? Garcia, Perez, Scrub, Presley, 5, excuse me. We used a ton of our bullpen arms. We used 10 1/3 innings from our bullpen. This is the first game of 9 in 7 days that we're going to be playing. We have a doubleheader later today, I suppose, if I want to be correct about it. And now it's a matter of hours away. Our bullpen is taxed. And I don't mean this as an insult, but our pitchers today are kind of question marks. We're going to have Brandon Bielak starting in the first game and Jose Urquidy starting the next game. Brandon Bielak, the past 2 games, has been, like Brandon Bielak, he's been terrible. Jose Urquidy has not pitched yet this season. This was a very bad loss. And to be honest, I know it sounds bad, but I look at this from a realistic standpoint. It would have been better if we had just not rallied in the 9th. And that hurts to say, because it was fun to watch us rally. It was neat to see Maldonado take home. And it was awesome to see Tucker, get that clutch hit. That was very nice. And I also got to see Stubbs make an appearance. Brief as it was. But we could have used those 2 innings, those 2 1/3, that we now don't have from those pitchers. Because we could try to use Presley tomorrow, but I don't feel comfortable putting him in a save situation now on short rest. Same with Raley. We can't use Scrub now. And he's been our best bullpen pitcher. And if you look in a vacuum with just ERA, he's been our best pitcher this season. And now he's most likely out tomorrow because he threw 41 pitches today. 2 1/3 innings. Tonight was rough. And there was a lot that I needed to say. So this is just basically a big old rant about tonight. So thank you for sticking through if you did. Yeah, like I said, Brandon Bielak gets the start tomorrow for the first game, and then it'll be Jose Urquidy. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And even though I'm a little bitter, as always, go Stros.